Hello, boys and girls. Today we're going to talk about your infographic, the requirements for it, and also the planning document. I'll walk you through this planning document. Once we get done with that, I will show you some examples on my website of what an infographic could look like, and also show you some of the tools you'll be using to create your infographics. One of the first things you're going to be looking at is what your topic is. You'll have to pick a topic which you're going to do your infographic on. Now, this could be something showing us how to do something, it could be about a specific topic and just providing us with some information on a topic. It says here, think Goldilocks. Now, I don't want you to do your project on Goldilocks unless you really want to do your project on Goldilocks. What this basically means is we want you to have a topic that is focused perfectly, something that is not too focused on something that you can't break into three different topics, or something that is too broad. For example, if you are interested in doing basketball, then that is too broad of a topic. If you want to do the Chicago Bulls, that might even be too broad of a topic. Think about how you can possibly break something apart into one thing that's specific. If you want to talk about the 1992 Bulls, that is probably something you might be able to talk about in an infographic. But just make sure it is just right. It is not too broad. It is not too specific. Next thing I want you to do is to write your thesis down. Now, your thesis doesn't have to be as just like what we've done in the past, because it's going to be focused a little bit different. So we'll show you some examples of thesis statements later on. But this is where we're going to want you to write your thesis statement. Your infographic is going to have three different sections to it. And so I've created these little boxes for you to fill out for each of your sections. One of the things I want you to make sure you do is just to say what you're going to talk about first. This could be the title of your first section. You'll see some examples a little bit later on about what this could look like. You may have to do some research for some of this. So if you do some research, this is a spot where you can put some information down. Put a bulleted list or just some notes about what information am I going to use. Once you do that, make sure you log it over here. That way I know and that you know where this information came from. And of course we have it for the second section, same thing. Third section, same thing. And that kind of leads us to the next portion, which is the conclusion. And again, you have had lots of experience with writing conclusions in this class. You just wrote one for your argumentative test. It's going to be structured in a very similar way. Restate your thesis, state the 3 points you talked about, and then sum everything up on your infographic. Here's some other requirements too. You make sure you have the title on your infographic. Make sure the thesis statement is on your infographic, and make sure the main ideas are there also. Also make sure that there is some visual things on there and some text explanation. Don't forget to put your name on the infographic, and also if you do use sources, please make a works cited section, and we'll talk about that later on. Alright, so let's take a look at the website and see some examples. So if you go to my website, which is bjhs8henglish.weebly.com, and click on Major Assignments, and then you scroll down and click on Informative Infographics. It'll take you to my webpage, and we went here yesterday and saw some things that were on this webpage. But I want to scroll down a little further and talk to you about some things. Now, this middle section over here is going to be something that's going to be very important for you. This is the stuff we worked on yesterday. Here are some student and teacher examples, which I'll show you in a second. Here's the planning document in case you lose it, or if you want to work on it on the computer and then print it out later on, that's totally fine. Also, here's the rubric, so this is what Miss Miller or I will be using to grade your presentation. I mentioned before, if you need to do some research, you might want to provide some facts for your topic. That might really help us understand what you're talking about and help you understand your topic even more. Here are some websites that you can use to find some more information. FactMonster is a great tool. It might look like a little kid's website, but it actually provides some really great information. So don't shy away from using it because of the way it looks. It actually gives some really great information. EasyBid, you can use this to cite your sources, and we'll show you how to use that later on if you are going to be using some sources. And Worldbook Online is a great encyclopedia for just some regular information. If you're struggling on trying to find what kind of stuff do I want to put on my paper, this is going to give you some great information. Now, this leads us to the two different ways, things that you can use for your website to create your infographic. S'more is one option, and there is a video underneath here on how to use S'more. Pictochart is another option, and of course we have another video that's showing you how to use Pictochart. So if you just click on those when you're on there, it'll show you exactly how to use it. I will say S'more is a lot easier to use. So if you struggle with technology and you want something that's a little bit easier to do, S'more is much easier. You can do a lot more with PictoChart, though. I'll show you some examples in a little bit, and it'll show you how PictoChart can look kind of cooler at times. So if you really want to do something fun and have then kind of play with some things, PictoChart might be your option. You'll when you actually get done with everything, this is how you're going to submit it. You'll click this button, and there'll be a way for you to submit it, and I'll put a video on there later on showing you how to submit it. So don't worry about that. All right, so let's take a look at a few examples. So you can see here we have a couple different examples. This was one that was created by a student a couple years ago. You can see that she has her name, she has the title of her infographic, she has her thesis statement over here, she has her three main ideas, and she explains them over here very nicely. She has some beautiful pictures, she has a nice color palette, so it looks like it all kind of goes well together. It's not too busy, it has all the proper information, and everything is there for her. Here's another one about bopping, a certain type of dancing. And so it has the title, it has the thesis statement. We have our three different sections, this section right here, this section right here, and then finally this section over here. And I believe that she even has, if you look close, it looks like there are some sources that are listed there. Now this is a PictoChart that I made last year about my record collection. I'm into collecting vinyl, so I thought this was something fun to do. You can see I have my title, Viva la Vinyl. And I have my thesis statement. The latest trend in music is an old one. And you can see these thesis statements are a little bit different than the ones that we've done in the past. They're not as in depth as we've talked about in the past. This is basically almost kind of like just a way of summing up what our infographic is going to be about. So you can see I have a couple different sections here. I talk about how vinyl sales are popular right now. I have some graphics. I have this graphic that shows how much they've become, how much records have become more popular. I have this section over here about MP3s. This one over here about fidelity of sound, and again I have some pictures that go along with everything. I just have a cool little picture there that looks kind of nice. And I also included some places where you can go record shopping in town here. And if you look over here, I have my conclusion paragraph right there, and then I have my works cited page. Now this is one that Miss Miller created on the Hamilton the music. I used PictoChart for mine. She used S'more for hers. And so I'm going to click on hers, and it'll show us how she did it. And again, she has her title, she has her thesis statement, Hamilton puts a new spin on musicals. And she has some links here, and the cool thing about some of these websites is you can actually put in clips. Like she has a clip from Hamilton right there. I'll play a second of it. Smashing every expectation, every action's an act of creation. I'm laughing. So that's something you can put on yours too. If you have some video clips, you can always put them on there, and we can show you how to do that later on. She has some explanation. She has a few different sections on here. And then she has her name, and she has her works cited page. So that kind of shows you what these things could look like. And again, we'll be working on this for a little while. So for the next 2 days, start to play with it, start to fill out that planning document, and start figuring out what you want to do your infographic on. And when I come back, Miss Mill and I will really spend some time helping you create your infographics. One thing that you will have to do with this infographic, you are going to have to present this infographic in front of the class. So make sure that your infographic is something that you are very familiar with, that you can explain in about a minute, between 1 and 3 minutes, about your topic. Okay, I can't wait to come back and see what you guys have come up with. Have a great day.